Hello, welcome. Thank you for joining us on News 2 Week in Review. I'm April Knight. Topping our story tonight, residents took to social media a couple of weeks ago to express their concerns regarding the blood supply levels at Schneider Regional Medical Center after a St. Thomas resident posted that negative O blood was needed in order to save a life. The hospital informed us that it has been a long time since they operated a blood bank and that they cannot accept donors at the moment. Stephanie Brown has more for News 2.
We have not been a blood donation center for quite some time.
Delphine Olivis, the Vice President of Quality and Performance Improvement at the Schneider Regional Medical Center, informed that it's been more than 10 years since blood donations were accepted at the medical center due to cost factors.
In order to be a blood bank, you have to go through rigorous regulations. It is quite costly, the equipment, the testing and everything.
However, the Schneider Hospital's laboratory director, Maritza Phillips, stated in a recent press conference that receiving blood from off-island is not a rigorous task.
It's a simple process of ordering through the computer or per fax, and then it gets here within, say, the same day or within 24 hours.
Phillips further stated that the hospital receives blood from the American Red Cross and Blood Buy, operating out of Texas. The concerns of blood supply and blood donorship to the Schneider Regional Medical Center comes after a group member of the Facebook page What's Going On St. Thomas posted a plea for O-negative blood on June 16th, days after other group members of the Facebook page shared their condolences for Adam Kent, a St. Thomas resident. The cause of Adam Kent's death has not been publicly disclosed. On SRMC's Facebook page dated June 21st, the center stated that they were aware of the community's concerns outlined in recent Facebook posts. However, because of federal privacy laws that govern patients' protected health information, it is not their policy to substantively respond to negative reviews on social media or websites, even if the information provided is misleading, unfair, or inaccurate. SRMC's legal counsel, Tina Commission, stated that the hospital's blood supply is dependent on the amount of need as well as the dependency of patients that are being cared for at the facility.
We always ensure that we have an adequate supply of blood products to provide to any patient who would need it in an emergency or who's getting regular care at the hospital. We do maintain a supply of blood products downstairs, and as was described, we have a robust system of ordering from more than one vendor to acquire more when it's needed.
Further, SRMC stated in written comments that they are approved to provide inpatient and outpatient blood transfusions as well as blood type identifications.
We've never had any issue with saving lives as it relates to blood product provisions or having enough or adequate supplies. Our processes in evaluating how much we're supposed to have sort of, goes up and down based on what the needs have been, based on research, based on, what the territory is experiencing.
SRMC employees could not speak about Adam Kent, but this weekend, the 6th annual Hull Bay Olympics benefiting the Family Resources Center will commemorate his life. For News 2, I'm Stephanie Shalana Brown.
Schneider officials insisted that blood supply levels at the hospital are adequate, but they do not have the ability at this time to operate a blood bank. St. Thomas was all abuzz this morning when residents posted photos and videos of the flagpoles on the way to the airport. The flags were taken down from 11 poles and replaced with black flags with the word Allah on them. The Virgin Islands Port Authority released a statement this morning. They said they reported the incident to the FBI, the TSA, and the Virgin Islands Police Department. The airport remains open and functioning as normal, according to Port Authority, and all flights will depart and arrive as scheduled, but security is tightened. We have unconfirmed reports that the perpetrator is in custody. We reached out to Port Authority and we're waiting to hear back from them. Meanwhile, local clergy from different denominations are inviting the public to a meeting on Sunday, 3 p.m. at the Islamic Center on 8th Street on St. Thomas. You can call 513-4041 for more information. Again, that number is 513-4041. The government is exploring plans for evacuation in case another major disaster like the 2017 hurricanes occur. This was revealed at a marathon meeting on Tuesday by the Hurricane Task Force. Among other topics at the task force meeting were how climate change will make future storms more intense and how meaningful preparation is the key to avoiding any more catastrophic damage. There's a report published on July 20th with the finer details of the plan, and it will be available for public comment. Here's more from the task force meeting.
Again, we're going to reinforce existing systems, change system design and operations, improve emergency preparedness and response. Specific initiatives there, again, burying cables, working with other government entities such as WAPA to make sure that the infrastructure is more resilient, designing and building new public safety radio systems, and introducing new technology for data maintenance and storage. So working on finding other more advanced technology solutions that are be more resilient in the next disaster.
We are talking seriously about an evacuation plan to some degree of all three islands, whether that's going to happen by cruise ship or air traffic or a combination of both. If a Category 1 or 2 storm should come through the islands, even with the modular systems at the hospitals in place, we've already made the decision with FEMA that we will again evacuate those facilities and get folks out of harm's way.
In September last year, the U.S. Navy and Marine Recruitment Center in Nisky on St. Thomas went up in flames after 26-year-old Texan Spencer Wayne Allen set it on fire. Well, on Thursday, Allen was sentenced to almost 8 years in prison for setting the fires that damaged 3 federal buildings. That's according to the U.S. Attorney's Office. That same day, Allen also set ablaze 2 other federal properties, the Ron DeLugo Federal Building and United States Courthouse, and the U.S. Coast Guard Station. The charges were arson and malicious damage to federal property. The case was investigated by the FBI, the ATF, and Homeland Security, as well as NCIS. Allen was also sentenced to 3 years of supervised release. Well, all across the territory and the Caribbean, the Sargassum problem is not letting up. Take a look at this video posted by a Facebook user. It shows the East End on St. Thomas earlier this week after some cleanup was done. And as you can see, the seaweed is back and covering the waters closer to shore. At its budget hearing last week, DPNR officials told Senate they have plans to purchase 2 machines for collecting the Sargassum before it reaches shore. Those machines would cost $30,000 each. One would be stationed on St. Thomas and St. John, and the second machine on St. Croix. We'll keep you updated. Coming up next, we're looking at the plight of one community on St. Thomas that's not only struggling with post-hurricane damage, but also a board that they feel isn't representing their interests. We'll have that coming up.
The trend across the Caribbean right now is watching tropical waves move from east to west, and behind each wave, some drier air and also some Saharan dust. So that's the situation right now. We are going to be watching moisture continue to press its way out of our area and towards Hispaniola for tonight. A little closer look at the satellite. Some clouds out there, some showers that will once again press its way to the west, and behind it we're going to be looking at a clear sky tonight. Mainly clear, not many clouds out there, with a low of 79 degrees. As we take you into tomorrow, the haze begins to return here, and we're going to really notice that dust tomorrow. If you have any respiratory illnesses, it's going to be very sensitive for you to be outdoors. High of 88 here in St. John, topping off in the upper 80s in St. Thomas as well. Also looking at hazy skies. That dust limits the amount of showers we'll see, so not looking at a whole bunch of moisture for tomorrow's forecast. If you're headed on the water, here's a look at the marine forecast on the Atlantic for your Saturday. Small craft use caution will be issued. Waves are running 4 to 6 feet, winds out of the east 10 to 15 knots, and on the Caribbean side looking just as high with those waves running up to 4 to 6 feet and winds out of the east 15 to 20 knots. Small craft anticipated to use caution for the start of the weekend. Now, as we take take you into your extended forecast here. Hazy skies remaining abundant into your Sunday as well. It will be letting us see no moisture, like we said, that dust limits the amount of showers that can be seen. Then we'll get our next chance for wet weather on Monday, and that's going to be with our next tropical wave, inducing the chance for spotty showers and more cloud cover. Then right behind that next wave, we'll reach a drying period once again with more dust out there, hazy conditions, and temperatures won't be budging much, remaining in the upper 80s for your highs.
Thank you for that, Dodgy, and you stick around. News 2 Sports is coming up next with Gary Anthony. Welcome back. VIA announced that 2 U.S. VI students were awarded the 2018 VIA scholarships for first-year college students in the territory. Johnny Gordon was awarded the scholarship on St. Croix. Johnny is a 17-year-old honors graduate from the St. Croix Educational Complex and a member of the National Honor Society Ruth Beagles chapter. He's also a member of the Mu Alpha Theta National Math Honor Society. Here's more.
When I received this scholarship for VIA, I was really excited. I remember calling my mom on the phone, and we're both, screaming and celebrating because this scholarship really means a lot to me in terms of when I go to college and the expenses I have to deal with. Well, I was very active in my high school years. I became a part of the National Honor Society, where they acknowledge students for their excellence, and within that organization, we also tutored kids in algebra or any math-related subject or any subject of that matter in school. And we also took part in beautification of our school. So my plans and goals are to go to college, achieve my master's degree in computer engineering, and hopefully apply what I've learned in college by creating a business where I can create computer components for my audience of gamers.
Congratulations. The Virgin Islands Port Authority has big plans for the Cyril E. King Airport on St. Thomas. On Thursday, they held the first of a series of public meetings where residents can comment on what the airport would probably look like in the future. Included in the plans are a multi-level parking garage to increase parking spaces. They're also planning to build designated areas for taxis and rental cars, as well as more lounge and concession spaces where they can set up more retail stores, food establishments, and more modern amenities for travelers. If you need more information on this or future meetings, you can email info@viport.com. Meanwhile, VIPA is also building a temporary customs checkpoint at the Red Hook Ferry Terminal on St. Thomas. U.S. Customs and Border Protection will be stationing agents there once it's completed. Their job is to clear ferries and passengers arriving from foreign ports. Port Authority hopes that this will save time for travelers and ferry operators who are traveling to downtown Charlotte-Amalie to clear customs, since the customs facility on St. John was destroyed during the hurricanes last September. They expect construction of this temporary checkpoint to be completed by July. It will remain operational until the one in St. John is reconstructed, and they're expecting that to happen by the end of the year. Meanwhile, the Virgin Islands lost a familiar face and a familiar voice over the weekend. Local broadcasting icon Lee Vanderpool passed away over the weekend in Georgia. He was 76. Vanderpool is remembered as a prominent journalist and spokesman for the government. He also worked with his brother Mel Vanderpool, producing news spots for WSTA. Later on, he worked as a TV news anchor for WVGN Channel 10 with his co-anchor Aquanette Shinnery. Vanderpool was also a dancer and was actually one of the original dancers with the Alvin Ailey American Theater in the early 1960s. Our condolences to his family and friends. Well, the territory continues to recover from the devastation caused by Hurricanes Irma and Maria 10 months ago, and residents of the Thomasville community in Estate Bavoni on St. Thomas are no exception. But some problems with the board that's supposed to facilitate repairs on their property appears to make it worse. According to some members, the board, which doesn't constitute a quorum at the moment, is illegal and making daily life harder for the community. Here's more.
Every time it rains, they affect the whole house. We have to get pieces of whether wood or what you call it, what to stop out there. When rainfall, especially if it comes from this area, and that rain coming in on the other side, that's where water is actually hitting. We have a piece of tarpaulin, that will be used in the bathroom, because when the water comes through, it's in the bathroom for this area, but over there, it's in the front room for the next neighbors.
So before this, what did it look like? It was just a hole?
A hole. Everything point blank open.
I've been coming back and forth for the last month and a half, 2 months in the storms, and residents have many issues and problems relating to their lease, relating to their home repairs, relating to their membership. Basically, they're trying to get a board in place that's going to represent their concerns and their issues, because they feel that the board that's in place right now are not listening to them and doing what they're supposed to do on their behalf. There's supposed to be 7 board members. Right now there's only 3 board members, which do not quantify a quorum. So basically, most of the action that have been taken, in my opinion, is illegal.
But the damage to the property since the hurricanes, who's supposed to fix it?
Well, they are responsible for fixing the damages in terms of getting a contractor, but as far as I know, the last meeting we had, they're waiting for insurance proceeds. And they had some issues with the insurance company because they did not want to tell them how much they're getting, so they have not actually accepted that offer, because, and I told them they were right in that regard, because in order for me to sign any documentation, I need to know how much I'm getting.
My son went down the road and got pieces of wood, which is Simon Llewellyn-Wallens Jr., and fix up the place.
Not the management?
Not management. My son used his truck and went down the road and pick up various little pieces. Up to now, nothing been done. There are others.
Other buildings as well?
Other buildings. But if I look at it, this is the worst. He really, and nobody could tell us we're going to do this or when this is going to happen and so on.
We'll keep you updated on Thomasville. Stick around, your News 2 AccuWeather forecast is coming up next.
I'm Gary Anthony, and this is News 2 Sports. The Virgin Islands national men's senior team hit the hardwood last night in the 3rd window of the America qualifiers for the 2019 FIBA Basketball World Cup. Let's go to Puerto Rico's Roberto Clemente Coliseum, where the VI tipped off versus the Bahamas. It was a tight game from start to finish. First quarter action, Walter Hodge with the 3. Second quarter, good D by the Bahamas leads to this dunk by Jerron Burroughs. In seconds of the first half, an Angel Rivera from long range. VI down 1 at the half. Third quarter, the Bahamas, they are not going away. They're up by 4 when Nicholas Claxton gets the block and the dunk. More on him later. VI up by 2 in the 4th quarter, and good D leads to Hodge going to the hoop and the foul. Hodge led the VI with 22 points, including 4 or 6 from downtown, as the VI wins 84-74, clinching a spot in the 2nd round of the qualifying games. Next up, the Canadian national team in Ottawa, Canada, Monday afternoon at 1:30. Earlier this week, Nicholas Claxton, a sophomore at the University of Georgia, spoke about being on the national team.
It's truly a blessing to be able to play for the men's team. You know, I played for the junior team growing up, but it's my first time playing with the older group of guys, and I'm already learning a lot from the older guys on the team. So hopefully we can go to Canada and Puerto Rico and make some noise.
Staying with the full court press, the championship games of the Zero Tolerance Basketball League will be played on Saturday at the Bertha Bisciotti Gymnasium.
This actually was our summer league, which we started a little early. So with getting the use of BCB, we had a limited time of using it, so we had to force the days and the games in as we go by. We play our 3 championship games on Saturday, June 30th, beginning at 11 a.m., BCB Gym. Coming up for Zero Tolerance, after we complete our championship games, our 12th grade and under and 11th grade and under teams, our teams, will be traveling to Orlando in early July. Okay, this young man, Nicholas Claxton of the University of Georgia Bulldogs. Nick here is trying to show the youth of Zero Tolerance and the Virgin Islands what it takes to get where he at right now.
My message for young people coming out of the islands especially is just to make sure you stay focused, stay around the right crowd of people, listening to your parents, and make sure you're focusing on your schoolwork, because without the schoolwork you can't get into any type of school, college.
Have a great weekend. That's it for sports.
Thank you for that, Gary. And that's it for our show tonight. Make sure you follow us on Facebook at News2 or Instagram at TV2USVI. We want to hear from you, so tag us on any stories you want to see on the news or send us an email at newsdirector@tv2.vi. Thanks again for joining us on News 2 Week in Review. I'm April Knight, and we'll see you next time.